Hello, welcome to another work together. Today we're going to make another gift. This would make a really lovely Christmas present or holiday gift to have on hand for the last minute gifts that you just need to hand to someone real quick, or because you can make these very inexpensively and very quickly, easily. They're really easy to do. Okay, so it's a card set. It opens up like this. On this side you have the card. On this side you have the envelopes, and they hang out in little pockets. So let's see here. You have deep pockets there to hold them, and then it ties together and they all get held together. All of the cards are the same. I haven't tied ribbons on these ones yet. I just tied the bow on there. They all have, these ones are thinking of you, and they have the same, we're going to make the same card. We're just going to use a different color scheme, different patterns. So anyways, it's just a fun little gift to have on hand. Okay, so let's go ahead and get right to it. Let's start by making the case. Okay, so this is our case. This is our folder that's going to hold the envelopes. This is sized 10.5 by 6, and it is scored at 4 3/4, and then I flip it and I score it at 4 3/4 again, and that gives me about a quarter, or about an inch gusset in there, or an inch spine essentially. Then I stuck some seam binding down and I put on the pattern paper, so you didn't have to watch me do that part. And I have already attached one of the pockets, and I'm going to show you how to do the other one. Okay. So to make the pockets, we have a piece of paper that is 5.5 by 6 3/8. I got 2 pockets out of 1 sheet of paper. Okay, what you're going to do, put it in here at the 6 3/8 side, score it at 1/2 inch and 1 inch. Turn it 1/2 inch, 1 inch, and then turn it one more time and score it at 1/2 inch and 1 inch. Then you can turn it one last time, and you're going to score it at 1 3/4 inch. Okay, that part is not necessary. It just doubles your pocket and gives it a little bit more strength. Alright, after we've done that, we just have a little tiny bit of cutting to do. We're going to cut that. All I'm doing here, I cut off the 2 squares at the bottom, and then now I'm cutting, so I just have the 1 flap left, and I'm cutting them all at an angle there. Then I'm going to go up here and I'm going to remove the 1 inch from the top part of it, just like that. Okay, that's what one side looks like. Now we're going to come over here and we're going to cut in just like that. Same thing on this end. Cut in. It's a little hard to see the score marks on this pink paper. And then we remove this one. And then this is what you're left with. Okay? That's what we're left with. What you're going to do first is fold this over. This is going to go to the back, and this is just going to get adhered down. This is just to strengthen your pocket. You don't really need it. Okay, just like that. Then we go ahead and crease all of our other folds. Okay, then lay them down, and we're going to put adhesive on the outside ones only. Alright, let me shut off this autofocus here. There we go. Okay, then we're just going to try to kind of create a box shape with this because it'll be easier to stick down if we create the shape first. Okay. Just try your best to get it nice and straight. It's going to be a little bit complicated to work with because the way that we cut it, but if you just try and get it straight, it should be doable. Okay, so then this is what we have now. Whoops, of course it's sticking to me. Okay, this is what we have. So then you take your cover, and you're just going to stick this down right on there, just like that. Then when you close up your box, it's closed up. Now, one of the things that I've noticed with this box is that they fall out. So I was trying to think of a way to help them to stay in there a little bit better. And I think what we could do is we could create a flap that comes from the back and comes down here, or we could just tie them together so that they stayed together. There's a lot of options you could have. I'm gonna try not to do anything to this one yet and see what happens, and then if I need to, I can create a way to stick them together. So I got my envelopes. I'm just going to stick them in the pocket. I've got 3 envelopes in there right now. If I can get them to fit in there. Wonder why they're not fitting. Oh, I see. Okay, if you have an issue with your tabs that are on there, just try to remove them or kind of push them down. So there we go. We have our envelopes in there. And then I have 2 of my cards made, so we can just slide those right in there. And then you just tie it up. Now let's make some envelopes and cards. Let's make one of the envelopes first. I chose to make my envelopes top loading instead of side loading. So to do that, what you're going to need is a piece of paper that is 7 7/8 by 9 1/2. Okay, and then I scored it at a 1/2 inch, 7 inches, no, wait, I'm sorry. I scored it at 1/2 inch and 6 1/8. Then I turn it and I scored it at 2 and, let me just make sure I tell you the right one this time. 2 5/8. And then I also scored it at 7. Okay. And then we just do a little bit of cutting to turn this into an envelope. And it goes together really easily. So like I said, you can make a bunch of these. And to make this total project, I used 4 pieces of paper for the envelopes. If you used pre-made envelopes, you wouldn't need to use that much cardstock then. I used 2 pieces to make the cards, and I used 2 pieces to make the cover and the pockets inside. One for the cover and one for the pockets. And then I think I have 6 pieces of 6x6 patterned paper. So you could get a couple of these out of one, probably 3 or 4 of them out of one 6x6 patterned piece of paper, pattern pack, you know. Make some quite nice ones. I also used a stamp set that my sentiment says, "You're so special to me," and I heat embossed it. You could leave that part off too, and then it would go even quicker. But I just pre-made all my pieces, and then so when we start to make the card, you'll see how easy it goes together. There we go. Okay, then I corner around the top parts and fold them down, and took a scrap of pattern paper. This is left over from the piece that I cut for the card, and then that way the envelope will match the card. Just like that. There we go. So there we have our last envelope. Now I've got 4 envelopes and I'll have 4 cards when I'm done. Just stick this little guy right in there. Okay. Then also one of the other things that I think I might need to do is reinforce this spine, because it keeps folding like that. It keeps kind of bending, and I think if I put a piece of chipboard the size of the spine on there on the inside, it would keep it from doing that as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and make some cards then. So the first thing we want to do is cut out your cards. I cut my cards. It's just an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper cut in half and then folded in half so you can get 2 from each one. Excuse me. Then we have a doily that I cut in half. First thing we're going to do, on the front part of the doily, apply a strip of adhesive. Then we're going to place that on the card, kind of where we want it to be. Then we're taking our piece of paper. I cut this out of my die cut machine. We're going to place this right there so it's kind of on the edge, and just a little bit of the doily pokes through. Okay, then I'm going to use glue dots. You could use dimensionals, you could use pop dots, you could use anything that you wanted to use to put this onto the card. I just made these glue dots and I really love them. They're very easy to use. So I've been using them a lot. I love that if you make them yourself, you can make them any size you want them to be, really. If you want to see how I made my glue dots, let me know and I will show you. And another one right there. Okay, so I have all my dots on there. And I'm just going to stick this piece on here, and it gives it a nice little bit of dimension there. Then I take my sentiment, which I have already stamped, heat embossed in silver, and had a glue dot stuck to my fingernail. Heat embossed in silver, and I stamped it on vellum, and I gave it a flag type cut there. Okay, I'm just gonna find 2 small glue dots and stick them to the back of this, and then try to stick it straight. Okay, and then lastly, I've got a little bow here. I'm just going to put a glue dot on there and stick it down to my card. And the baker's twine that I'm using also has some silver in it. It's white and silver, so it matches the card quite nicely. Let's see if I can get it to focus. Maybe. Come on. Come on. Focus. Okay, well, it doesn't really want to focus, so I guess I can't show you, but I got it at Target for $1.50. It's really nice baker's twine. It's really thick, so it's a little bit harder to tie, but it's very thick. Oh, no, wait, that one's not the one I got at Target. The gold one is the one I got at Target. This one I got, I don't know where I got this one. It just looks like this. Focus, come on. Well, you can kind of see it sparkling a little bit, I guess. But I guess it doesn't want to focus for some strange reason. Okay, let's go ahead and make our last card, and then we're all done with this project. I really like this piece of paper here. I chose to do it with pinks and grays, and then there's one teal in there because it was from the paper collection. Alright, and then lastly, let's stick some glue dots on there. Come on. You can tell they're very sticky. Sticking to my fingers like that. Okay. Then we're gonna just stick this bad boy on there like that. We got our sentiment here again. Just gonna stick these on there, trying to hide them in the word as best I can. And lastly, we've got a glue dot for the bow. We're just gonna stick that right there. And then we have our very lovely card. Okay, so we'll take our cards and then open up our folder, and there's probably enough room in here to fit another card or two, depending on how much dimension you put on the cards that you make. So there they are in the holder, and then we close it up. Tie it up pretty. And then there we have our lovely little card collection. Let's try this one too. There we go. I hope you like it. I hope you make one. And if you do, let me know how it went. If you have any questions, feel free to email me. And if you want to see how I made my homemade glue dots, just leave a comment and I will do a video. It's really very simple. And there are some on YouTube on how to do it. But if you want me to show you, I will show you. All right. Have a great night, all.